What up, guys? Yeah, we got another Christmas beer review coming at you, and this is the annual Anchor Brewing Company Merry Christmas, Happy New Year beer 2019. This is one of my favorite just seasonal beers. There's just something about it that I absolutely love. I love that they change the tree on the label every year. This year it is a Tiara Placata. Killed that name, so I apologize, but it is a very bushy tree. But yeah, let's crack this open, get into it. I love the bottle on this. It's just the classic label. Whenever you see this out, you're like, yes, the holidays are upon us. Last year, I didn't like it as much last year. They do tweak the recipe every year, so it's a little different, just like the tree. So some years I really like it, other years it's just like, meh. But okay, they do give you a blurb about the tree, which I enjoy. I'll let you know. Let's dig into this information on the tree. This is the 45th annual our special ale. 45th. It's kind of annoying to read this. From the brewers at Anchor. This ale, made with natural flavors, is sold only from early November to mid-January. Its recipe and hand-drawn tree change every year. They could have made this better for reading it. Change every year, but the intent with which we offer it remains the same. Joy and celebration of the newness of life. Since ancient times, they have like a tree leaf right in the middle of this thing, so you can't really read it well. It's like, I don't know. Since ancient times, trees have symbolized the winter solstice when the earth with its seasons appears born anew. This year's tree is a western arborvite, tree of life, an evergreen conifer native to Northern California. The ones that didn't all burn down. Okay, so this might be the last one remaining. Now that I've read it, and you know what tree it is, it's from Northern California, let's get in review, get into the smell. There's a hint of a roasted maltiness, a little bit. I feel like there's also a bit of a vanilla that kind of smooths it out. There is a deeper sweetness to it, maybe like a molassesy kind of sweetness. So maybe you have like that, it's almost like that deeper sugar plummy molasses vanilla going on. I'm not picking up many of the winter spices, which, I mean, they rotated, or I don't know how they come up with it. I don't know if they just continually tweak the recipe for each winter, or they just start anew every time. I'm not really sure, but I'm interested, so I'm going to recommend it on aroma. A deeper molassesy, malty, vanilla thing going on around here. So, recommend on that. So anyways, let's get into the taste. First thing I'm getting is definitely a subtle maltiness. It's not strong. There's a little bit there. You're getting like almost like a hint of that barley wine kind of thing. Again, very minimal of that, minimal maltiness. They're both kind of there. I'm kind of picking up a vanilla molasses kind of thing. It's like if you drank a flat vanilla Coke with a hint of molasses as the sugar instead of, corn syrup. That mixed with the maltiness. So I'll be here panting, dogs losing their mind for some reason. ABV 6.9%. I admit it's not my favorite seasonal beer from them. Maybe I just really dug the one from like 3 years ago. But it's fine. Basically, it's fine. Maltiness without getting too crazy. A deeper sweetness to it, but not overpowering. A hint of vanilla. There's a bit of like maybe a subtle hint of like a charcoaly smoke, just like a hair, just a little bit of that. Most of the tastes you get are kind of on the front end. It doesn't really change all that much the further into your mouth it goes. It's not like, you know, evolving beer when you drink it. It's you kind of get it. It might take you a few sips to really figure out what's going on, but after 4 or 5 sips, you'll pretty much have you'll know what it's going to taste like. I don't know. Like, I definitely have liked previous renditions of this better. I feel like it doesn't have much of what makes it a seasonal or the winter thing. Like, I feel like old ones used to have maybe a bit of the piney taste to it, or some of that nutmeg or clove thing kind of going on. You don't really have any of that. It's a winter beer, but that's about it. I mean, it's a fine winter beer. I guess maybe I was hoping more from it, and I just didn't get it. So maybe it is a product of its own success, but nevertheless, I kind of have to compare it to previous versions of it. But I'm gonna give it a half on taste. Like, it's fine. And if you hadn't had any of the previous versions and you like a smoother maltiness with just a hint of sweetness but nothing crazy, I think you'll like this. But I definitely like previous versions better. So I'll give it a half. Next category is value for price. I think okay, not on this receipt. But I mean, Anchor doesn't charge crazy amounts for their beer. I think they're very fair for what they charge. And it's an easy enough beer to find. If you're at a place that sells anything more than just standard Budweiser and Miller, it's going to have an Anchor, and you'll probably find this Merry Christmas, Happy New Year beer. So, I mean, value for price. Yeah, I'll recommend for that price. It's fine for. I don't remember totally what I spent for it, but I know what the average Anchor thing costs, and you know, it's fine. I'll recommend it for that price. Next category is distinction. How distinct is it? And it just doesn't have that holiday thing. If they had released this just as a winter seasonal, totally get it. Totally fine. It doesn't have that Merry Christmas taste to it, though. You know, it doesn't have that you're decorating the Christmas tree, or, you know, you're baking Christmas cookies, or any of that. It doesn't have that element to it. And if you're going to slap Merry Christmas on the dang label, I feel like it should have some of that. If you're just putting it out for the wintertime, totally fine. But if you're saying Merry Christmas on it, I feel like it needs to have some of those Christmas, something seasonally Christmas to it. It doesn't really have that. So it's a fine ale. It's a fine winter beer. Doesn't really fit in for the Christmas stuff. So I'm gonna give it a half just because it is well done. It just doesn't meet the holiday beer thing, which it obviously is proclaiming itself to be. So I should have kept the 2017 version. But yes, I'll give it a half. Next category is drinkability, and honestly, 6.9%. On the high, I mean higher than some of the beers. It drinks well. It doesn't. I don't think you really taste that higher or the higher alcohol content. It's for about 7%. It's pretty easy to drink. It's not a problem. So I'm gonna recommend on drinkability. You have some of that maltiness that might slow you down, but other than that, I mean, it's easy to drink. So I'll recommend it on drinkability. Last category is would I buy it again? And no, I just don't think so. It's maybe I connected specifically with one beer, one version that they made like 2 years ago, or I guess it'd be 3 years ago now. Or 2 years ago with the 3 version. A couple years ago. I guess I just connected more with that, and the last 2 beers, they just haven't connected with me as much for being a Christmas beer. And so, like, it's just one of those things that I want. Maybe come beginning of January while they're kind of tapering off their release, then I'd probably be more inclined to drinking it at that point. Well, really, I don't know what it is up to the holidays. I like my beer to be a little festive, I like it to taste like, the cinnamon you smell when you walk into the store, and just the special cookies, the special snacks and goodies and whatever. I feel like it just kind of reminds me of Christmas as a kid. Christmas as a kid is so much different than as an adult. And it reminds me of elements of my childhood, plus I can drink now. And so I think that's why I really like those winter spices and seasonings in it. I think that's why I just kind of look for it, because it's like you're kind of reliving your childhood in liquid form as an adult. And so that's what I'm really kind of looking for in my beers this time of year. I don't have a ton of time for that, so it's like, God, just let me find one. But so this one, it just doesn't do it for me. I could potentially do it in January, but this is a Christmas New Year's beer, and it's just not Christmas New Year's-y to me. So I probably will not be buying this 2019 version again. So I'm gonna not recommend it on me buying it again. But anyways, that is my review of the 2019 Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, our special ale, whatever you're supposed to call this one. What do you think? Did you like this beer? And what are your thoughts on the 2019 version compared to the previous years? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And so yeah, for myself and for this Anchor Brewing Merry Christmas, Happy New Year special ale, take it easy.